Morning. I'm just getting started here today. I just need a minute to get organized. There we go. So it's going to be nearly impossible to show you, but in the eye sockets, there's little bits of like debris, either from painting or from the supports on the print itself. I'm just trying to carefully remove some of that extra material with this pin before I go in and paint the eyes, which is the bulk of what this job was intended to be, was to paint the eyes on the figure. But any time I can get some of this extra gunk out, our paint's going to lay smoother and the effect of the painted eyes will look better. If you're, for some reason, watching one of these played back, thanks for being here. My name is Donnie. I paint miniatures and, on rare occasion, action figures. So we're just getting this figure nice and tidied up so that we can do a proper paint job on it. Unfortunately, I'm worried I may need to repaint the faceplate on this one, which is pretty tedious. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be painting this Iron Man retro Mego figure in a minute here. I'm just doing some prep work, making sure everything is as smooth and prepped as it can be. This is just a little clay sculpting tool with a pin on the end. I'm using it to just clean out these eye sockets from all of the oversprayed paint and little support marks from the printing process. I bet the folks who are into more like scale modeling, like the Gundam folks, would probably have a really cool file that could get in here. Unfortunately, I don't have anything quite that small. That's on my purchase when there's time and resources list. Okay. I think we're looking good. So, let's double check what the client wanted. I'm going to see if I can minimize you so I don't lose the stream. Probably not, though. It's going to have illuminated eye sockets, and then this guy over here with the more recognizable silhouette, he's going to have, I'm going to try to do Tony Stark's eyes, deep recessed into the mask. So, to do that, first we need to block in some darkness into the eye wells. Not true black, but some darkness. Because I want to sort of like blend the shadow of the figure in the face. But let's start with a little bit like a dark purple and then layer the skin over it. We're going to try that. We're going to try royal purple as our interior shade on the human eyes to try and give it some like cool tone, um, under the skin. And a nice spot here on our palette. All right. We have one really nice brush in here, and we're going to use that one for everything. So just got to find that bad boy. Here he is. This is my one natural hair brush. It's pretty bent right now. We'll get it conditioned here real quick. But I want really good control over the flow of the paint and over the direction of my tip. I'm just yapping a lot, I'm sorry, but if there's not like active voice input, the YouTube stream just like deprioritizes it, and so you go from, if you stop talking, you go to 0 views. But thank you for being here. It looks like our brush is now ready. If you do any painting of your own, I would love to hear about it. Feel free to let me know what you're working on or what you're interested in. Like I said, I mostly paint like gaming scale figures, but well, this is like a new project for me. See what we can do to make the client happy. Just getting some of our purple in. And purple over the yellow is going to have sort of like a neutralizing tone too. It's going to be a bit like a grayer look. And that is A-okay. Try and just be careful that I don't get too much out here on the surface of the armor. I did spend a lot of freaking time painting it. Yeah, yellow is just a tricky color like that sometimes. But to our one sort of loyal viewer out there, thanks for being here. Hope you're having a good morning. I have a feeling this is going to be worse than I expected when it comes to difficulty. I've painted eyes before, and these proportionally would be quite big, which I hope would make it a little easier. But that deep recess is really going to prove to be a challenge, I fear. Well, we'll do what we can. If we have to repaint the yellow, we repaint the yellow. Not the end of the world. Probably should have known better in the first place. Let's see if we can't get. Hi there, welcome in. Alright, so we have the purple buried down in the eye wells now. You can see that they're very distinct. We're going to set him to the side for a moment. Let that firm up a bit. And then go over to this gentleman here, who's the same gentleman. For a glowing eye, we kind of want like rings of different brightness, right? And so my thought is there's two options. Either the innermost part of the eye is glowing and then it's fading, and then there's going to be a little edge highlight around the inside of the armor, or the whole thing is glowing. I'm going to start. It's gonna be blue, right? Like it, Iron Man's signature blue-white kind of glow look to it. But we do need to totally block out that yellow as well. And it may not look like it's glowing without hard, a little bit of black in there somewhere. It's gonna be tricky. I'm not quite sure. We almost need to like fake the interior ridge of the helmet as our like shadow line. But I don't think that will make sense painted on. Alright, well, let's just get some paint in there. I'm gonna start simple. This is white blue. If you had to ask me, hey, what color is the light in Iron Man's helmet? I'd probably say white blue. So you're gonna stop overthinking it and just put some paint in there, see what that feels like. And then we'll build the glowing effect into it. I think having this little cold pop of white blue is going to help try to ground out the yellow and red as well. And this, I'm happy to get up into the sides of each panel, as well as on this bottom ledge. Doesn't really bother. Sure, we're keeping our brush nice and pointed. Just using the edge of the brush to fill in this eye cavity. This will probably take more than one coat to get a good opacity. But, I mean, you can already see the difference, even on your, very poor camera, very far away. Welcome in. Alright. That's still drying up a bit. We do also have a third figure that we're working on today, which is this very small Luke Skywalker head. This is from the classics toy scale, the 3 3/4 inch action figures. We're just fixing the eyes were painted pretty wonky on this one, so I've got one eye done really well, and I'm just fighting to get the other one to line in just right. Folks don't give even like cheap action figures enough credit. If any action figure has decent eyes on it, that's generally not from a machine. That is somebody in a factory sitting there and saying, okay, here's your job. You paint these 3 lines over and over again, and eyebrow, eyebrow, dot, dot. Um, and it can be really, really difficult to get them to look even. You know, as a kid, it's really easy to be like, oh man, my guy's cross-eyed, or oh, he's smudged, um, because you don't see the effort that went into making them look like this. Alrighty, so if we're doing this Skywalker face, just gonna need some good old-fashioned coal black. Take this up. But for anyone sitting there in the in the view among the viewers, if you've got any painting projects of your own that you're working on, let me know. Let's talk about them. Also, let me know how you found this video, because like when I search miniature painting and like filter for live streams, pretty much nothing comes up. It's like all these weird fashion models. So I don't understand where the miniature painting is there. And there's also um, like metal detecting people. I don't know if it's like an algorithm thing or if those are just like sponsored and paid, you know, promotional search results. But it's super weird not being able to find stuff like this when you actively go looking for it. So if you're finding it by accident, I would love to know. Love to know how. Messed it up again. The first eye is always easy to paint. The second one, you have to match the first one, and that's where it starts to kind of suck. I could go the reverse route and just blacken the eye and then use the skin color to uh, try to adjust the shape, but I'm worried I'm already building up a lot of texture on the skin here, which is kind of unfortunate. So Luke's just gonna have one eye for a little while longer. Yeah, we're gonna come back over here to Iron Man. Looks like we can put a second coat of the white on. Just drop this down into each of the eyes. Awesome. And back to Mr. Purple over here. Same thing, we'll just There's not really any left. So we're working on repainting these Iron Man. Let me see if I can get a better light for you. So these Iron Man, these are Mego scale figures. They're like 6 or 7 inches tall. The client had custom heads printed for them to match 2 of the different retro suits. And so I'm painting in the eyes right now, and then we're going to clean up the armor and the cowl. But these are like old school, they're plastic figures, but they have like rubbery accessories and fabric outfits. They're pretty neat. So this version of with the pointed faceplate is going to have glowing eyes, and the other one is going to have like Tony Stark's human eyes looking out through the lenses. And then we also have to paint this little Luke Skywalker head, but that one's being problematic right now. So, what about you? What are you painting? Okay. Let's start looking at this glow. I kind of want it to have a central. Fair enough. Yeah, it is definitely a patience more than anything game. But it's nice to like spend your time on something and like have a physical thing at the end and say, hey, I spent 2 hours today on my hobby and I got this out of it. Whereas when I spend, 2 hours playing Cyberpunk or something like that, I'm like, oh, I have some memories, but I don't have anything that shows like, that I'm improving and that I guess I value it more when there's like a physical result. Alrighty. That guy needs to dry, so this guy needs to dry. Let's get like a fun miniature to paint so we can work on something while all this stuff dries. So this box is another job. This is all like Dungeons and Dragons, like fantasy gaming figures. I have a couple that are in progress, so we'll start with those, I suppose. So here's my little blue wizard. And yeah, this guy needs the most love. I also have this troll. So, a lot of painting today, but that's kind of the goal. Just to keep moving forward, keep making progress on all these projects, get them back to the people who care about them, and get paid if I can. There is not much money in this undertaking, but I mostly do it because I enjoy it. If I didn't have bills to pay, I wouldn't charge at all. I would just, only work on the projects I super like, and go from there. That's a pretty stiff brush. Poor fella. But thank you to everyone who is here and stopping by and watching. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. This looks the least screwed up. So we have our Gandalf wannabe here. And then our troll. The troll is proving a challenge for me. I I feel like it needs more contrast, which would, in theory, require more brightness. Um, because like right now, it just doesn't really look like anything. It it has light and shadow, but it doesn't have any like shape. It has no real volumes to it, which is just annoying. Um, but if we go too crazy, like we could go really crazy and just see what it does, I guess. Um, yeah. I feel like this is a better fit. God, that's bright. I may have overestimated um, what I was doing here, which is not a problem, but just needs more reworking. So adding this other green has done a couple things. Number one, it has taken us out of all of the natural tones that I had built up earlier, and it's basically just ruined the figure. God damn it. Cool. We are now at a point where we have to paint the whole troll this color and just repaint the skin from scratch. Sometimes you make bad choices and get punished for it. But such is life. That being the case, we're gonna go find a much bigger brush. Switching to something like this. This is a Prince and Select number 4 round. It's just like a big general workhorse brush. We're just gonna paint all of the skin this green. I should have known that this figure was too big to just rely on the speed paints, and that's how I got to that sort of desaturated green gray skin in the first place. But unfortunately, um, speed paints are sort of a one-directional process. They only really get darker, and so after I had my initial volumes in, I had no room to really highlight back up and get some definition. So. We'll get back in that general color palette eventually. Just gonna take a couple coats. thank you for stopping in and seeing what we're working on. If you do any painting of your own, I'd love to hear about it. I know this is just like every other live stream where they repeat the same, 5 seconds of, please engage with us. But that's how it works, unfortunately. If you're not actively talking all the time, it drops the discoverability. So, my name is Don. I'm a semi-professional miniature painter. If you have any questions, I'm here. All right, well, thanks for being here. Have a good one.